to Stupid Builds, where I will show you some stupid builds. Some of these builds are our own creations, some are from our livestream chat, but all of them are stupid because of how strong they secretly are. Today, we have a Titan build that seems to be glitching Trinity Ghoul into having its buffs permanently active. Two Warlock builds designed to be evil clones of each other, an extremely well-rounded and slept-on Hunter build, and lastly, a build that got us our super so fast you would think our Blade Barrage was our grenade ability. Starting off, Trinity Ghoul is like a brown bear in PvE, but a Build-A-Bear in PvP. Sure, it's like a bow with a kill clip fueled by Nikola Tesla's spite, but the vast majority would rather take a bow that comes ready to go out the gate. But today, we have a build that did something unusual. Take a look.
Enemy team is out of line. Triple down.
You saw it too, right? What the hell caused it to hold onto its lightning rod without scoring a kill? We tried a few times to replicate the effect, but it seemed to have just been a fluke, if not for the build creator insisting that this is a common occurrence for him. Assuming this is true, then professionally speaking, I'm appalled. Morally speaking, I'm disgusted. But personally speaking, I'm a fan. Let me know if your sessions yield any form of repeatability. We need to keep moving. Any Titan with a Peregrine Greaves is already set up for success, as any Titan with their crayons can tell you that their own limbs are often more powerful than even the highest caliber of rifle. We ran this with an SMG, and if I wasn't mentally cosplaying as a wet piece of cardboard, I would have used a Cascade Point SMG, as a headshot from the Trinity Ghoul's 3 arrows procs its effect after 1 headshot. But still, it's hard to mess up an SMG and bow pairing. With the added benefit of being able to secure arc damage kills from introducing our kneecap to the ear canals of our prey, we were able to relatively consistently have an on-demand bolt of the might of Zeus from Trinity. Bows also work well with our punch first identify the corpses later playstyle of knockout titans, as each body shot from the bow leaves the target within punching distance. In order to help us get into the beat the brains out of them range, we use the Juggernaut shield and the thrusters for both faster cooldown and a bit of close quarter combat footwork. Well-rounded and delightfully tangy. 3 lightning rods out of 26 backbreakers. So it turns out that these ghost characters like myself will only live for an hour for every new subscriber we get, so if you... Wait, Misam, is this real? Misam? Misam? By sheer accident, our chat gave us 2 builds that operated as a sort of inverse of each other, using weapons that even in lore operate as sort of doppelgangers of each other. The first was a Lumina build, designed around permanently keeping a 15% or more discount on your car insurance when switching to... Wrong script. Keeping a 15% damage bonus active all throughout combat. This we accomplished with the classic pairing of Boots of the Assembler and an Empowering Rift. In case you haven't touched Warlock since Destiny 1, the boots with the Lumina will drop feed noble rounds into your weapon while standing in a rift. This 15% bonus for the Lumina puts in about the same damage profile as a 120 hand cannon, with a faster RPM, requiring only 2 heads and 1 body shot to clean up foes. To keep this boat afloat, it is critical that you run this package together with the Ember of Benevolence. Because we can quite feasibly maintain some form of buff from the moment we respawn, this serves as a continuous deluge of energy for everything but our super. For our aspects, we run Icarus Dash for quicker maneuverability, and Touch of Flame for a stapled-on pair of angry healing eyebrows on our healing grenade. It's hardly anyone's cup of tea to play the support role in Destiny. It feels all too appropriate that another build was suggested that unintentionally acted as the edgy, emo teen It's Not a Phase mom counterpart with the Thorn. Now a word about this build. We are off-meta players, yes? So weapons like the Lumina getting some time in the sun is our passion. Whereas yet another voice talking about the literal top of the meta pyramid, Thorn, is far from our modus operandi, right? But we're all, mostly, adults here, and we can lay our own passions aside to enjoy whatever flavor, meta or not, a weapon can savor for us, correct? Just like how even the most salt-fueled, try-hard, Olympic quick-play playing meta user can sometimes appreciate our off-meta builds, right? Well, no one, and I mean not a soul, will appreciate or respect this build. Please excuse the pun, but this Thorn build is by far the most toxic and hated build currently on the Destiny black market. Off-meta players will despise you because it abuses the overwhelming and meta-dominating power of the Thorn. Meta players will despise you because it bolsters this power through a disruption break grenade launcher and AoE poison from necrotic grips. Ignoring the abomination that is 50% increased kinetic damage from disruption break, causing a Thorn body shot to guarantee a cleanup with a staggering 70 damage, this build was quite flavorful. Because strand melees by default have 3 of those unraveling dart melees, each dealing 68 damage, it's very possible to fire off 2 headshots, then use our melee as a sort of mock bullet. Thanks to necrotic grips, kills with this poison will spread to all nearby, and the poison will chain the unraveling effects, cascading into stimulated beehives of pain. In hindsight, I feel as though this would have worked more effectively as a starting tool to help delete enemy health bars faster. But in any case, if you eliminate your target from your ability or while they're debuffed, you will secure yourself a Strand Tangle, which we are juicing up with the Wanderer aspect for suspension blasts on Tangle impacts. The irony of this entire build is that it is arguably not the best build. It simply puts on full display the real wombo combo bullshit that lies poorly buried within the game's assets. I feel that even if we evil fellows peddling and publishing these weird and wacky and just a tiny bit cheesy builds are telling you that this build is repulsive, then it truly deserves to be thrown into the deepest, darkest, and fieriest pits of hell. So if you, dear listener, have decided to wrap yourself in a JoJo's reference and reject your own humanity by scurrying off after this video ends to play this abomination, then be my guest. But just know that by doing so, you are forfeiting any form of human decency, compassion, sympathy, or remorse for what may befall you. Choose your destiny carefully, facilitate your true preference, and decide whether to be the hero with the Lumina build, or the villain with this Thorn build. And if you choose wrong, and your consequences ravage you, we will greet you with apathy. 7 Archangels out of 9 Circles of Hell. It feels as though when deciding to be a hunter main in PvP, all hunters are met with the choice between either Solar, Void, or Strand. Arc, while perfectly capable, feels much more rare than the others, and I think that's a shame because it has a terrific gameplay loop that this build heightens perfectly. The weapon of choice is the Coldheart, a downright disgustingly powerful trace rifle that is just recently being discovered by the wider audiences, and a 2-burst sidearm. The Coldheart operates as our mid-range death beam that gains a ramping damage on any targets you lock onto. As a handy tip, if you tap-fire this weapon, you should be able to stack up its damage ramp slightly more effectively. If ever the Coldheart finds a group of guardians colonized together like a flock of emperor penguins, then you can share that increased laser beam damage between them all like a magnifying glass on a jar of ants. You may also get a free ionic trace for doing so. We then swap over to our sidearm for any more uncomfortably close targets. Ours was a 2-burst with tap the trigger and rangefinder, which felt incredibly deadly, but our exotic armor was what kept our engine of death properly lubricated with damage. We ran the Shinobu's Vow, the double skip grenade exotic that improves the skip's tracking and regenerates a portion of energy on hits. These arms allowed us to begin our ritual of cold fusion death on a target and then reminded them that we are as inescapable as death and taxes when they chose to huddle behind cover. To finish things off, we used this with flow state and lethal current. I had my apprehensions about the efficacy of Amplified in PvP as it had often been only a slight help, but for the fast and aggressive nature of this build, it worked wonders. Make sure to use this with Spark of Shock to jolt targets hit by your skips, and Spark of Beacons for a free explosion from Coldheart kills while amplified. As a rule of thumb for builds that lack one-hit killing special weapons, remember to play into your range, and don't be afraid to ego challenge other primaries if you both traded the first shot of the engagement. Coldheart will generally win most fights. Use and abuse that to your advantage. Fun build, definitely worth a try. 6 skipping stones out of 10 frozen lakes. It is no secret that we here at TDT Industries adore the cryostasia. Similarly, it has been covered many a times that a cryostasia pairs wonderfully with a lightweight knife. Freeze, throw, shatter, repeat. And in fact, we have featured this build before, but whatever we said then, I want you to reach within your mind and old yeller it because we were oh so wrong. The build wasn't new. Cryostasia with the knife combo and the shards of Galanor. The flow is as simple as secure a kill, freeze, knife, gain bonus super energy just like before. But good God, what horror beyond human comprehension I witnessed! I haven't the foggiest of notions what low-brained simpleton Capri Sun we were sipping the day we first reviewed this build, but the sheer speed at which you gain your super is quite literally unmatched. Every knife kill grants a girthy chunk of energy, then every super kill rinses and repeats with more of the same. I was getting supers faster than we could mercy the poor enemy team. I was getting supers faster than the Flash on a double-shot espresso. I was getting supers more often than a comment section corrects a simple spelling mistake. If you're a hunter wishing to obliterate a team planning on setting up a 4-star hotel on a control point, then you need to run this build. It hardly even matters what else you slap together with this beautiful beast. The only thing from your subclass is the Ember of Torches and the Knock 'em Down aspect. For added sauce, try this with the Heavy-Handed Arms mod to generate an orb of power following your knife kills. If you decide to give this a go in PvE, try this with the Hands-On Helmet mod for even more super energy on melee kills. Godspeed, you magnificent stabby bastards. Subscribe, bless your faces, and deuces.
I know the sheep.